All right, everybody, welcome back. Um, you get me down in the corner this time, my little picture-in-picture, for a little bit. I'm going to take it off because you guys need to see the whole screen. This is just for those people that like and looking at my adorable self. You know, I have my beauty rest every night, so this is the result of that. Yeah, I know it needs improvement, but I mean, what are you going to do? Anyway, um, you can see Wireshark here, and I told you guys we're gonna be getting into networking because that's where we're gonna that's where we're all gonna start, or that's where I'm gonna start you guys off at, because it's where you're gonna live a lot. You're gonna be inside networks. You're gonna be navigating. You're gonna see a lot of traffic, a lot of this, and a lot of and it's a lot of information. I know courses don't tell you this, YouTubers don't tell you this, but and for those of you that are, going to take, the hacking, the hack the box pen testing certification course, um, it is in depth and it is difficult. The pass rate on it is, you know, there's more people that fail it than pass it. Let's just say that because they want an in-depth report at the end of it, but everything having to do, it's a 10-day thing. This is not something you're going to sit down for 2 hours and take, answer a few check mark questions and think you passed it. We're talking some days here. This is going to take time to go through this test and pass it. And at the end of it, you're going to have a penetration report that is so in depth that you it boggles your mind. You don't even know yet. You don't even know what you're going. I mean, that's why you're going to fail because there's just so much stuff in there that um, I don't know what to tell you guys. There's no easy way to put it. Um, you know, I wish I could sugarcoat it for you and everything, but there's really no way to sugarcoat it. It's right and simple. Um, sorry if if the distraction over my shoulder here bothers you. We talked about this in the chat. My kitchen and everything. Hackers, um, hackers are like hardcore gamers. Uh, they find it very difficult to pull themselves away from the computer. I mean, we wake up in the morning, we get on the computer, and we are so into what we're doing and everything. I mean, before you even know it, it's bedtime already. The day has just flew by, and you're like, "Holy shit!" And so you go to bed, and you're like, "Well, tomorrow I'll do this and that." And tomorrow, and it just repeats. Every day just keeps going the same way. So you end up doing dishes and stuff as you need them, and because you just can't pull yourself away from what you're doing. Um, yeah, so that's what you call loving what you do. But anyway, shall we get started? We're gonna, like I said, lose the picture in picture and get started with this. I don't know how long it's going to be yet, but the subscribers watch the full videos because we talk about them in the chat room, usually afterwards. A lot of you don't have the permissions in the chat room to follow these conversations. Like I told you, this is my Discord is a cybersecurity Discord. It's in security, so there's going to be questionable people joining also, and because of that, I've got to have very restrictive roles in there. So if you get in there and you can see the chat, but you can't type and you can't see the history, there's a reason. You have not finished the onboarding process. Okay? Think about it, figure it out. I mean, if you can't pass this simple thing to where you get your account to where you can see the history and be able to chat, then security is just not for you. This is a simple thing to pass. You just follow the rules. You get thrown into a rule channel when you click on the invite. So follow the rules. That's what you gotta do. Look at where you're at over in the left column and think about things and figure out why your shit isn't working. And if you can't do that, well, I don't know what to tell you. McDonald's is hiring. I can probably tell you that much. But anyway, let's get to it. Okay, the Discord vote for this posting this video today won out. I did. I put a poll up, and people wanted this posted today because, like I said, there are people that are taking hack the box, try hack me. There's 3 or 4 people that are actually in college courses for cybersecurity and various other security related stuff. And so my teaching is meant as a complement to all that. My teaching is not a sole, 100% course to teach you how to hack. I'm giving you all the stuff that I'm doing here and everything. I'm going to go over a lot of stuff. Like I said, you know, there's a lot to cover, but it's going to be from a hacker's perspective, not, from a professor's perspective or a or an ethical hacker's perspective. I'm going to tell you guys things, from a hacker's point of view. We cuss, we talk like, we're talking to, like we're buds. You know, we, I talk to people like I would talk to anyone. Um, so yeah, so there's that. Now, for all of you others who are just, casually following my channel, you're welcome to. But there's needs to be some clarification for all of you who are on a serious journey to learn, the insights and everything from a hacker, from a hacker's point of view and all this. Because, I wasn't an independent security researcher, but I was a hacker when I first started out. And I really didn't plan on, getting in the industry because I knew after I got into it and I got on a couple of forum boards and everything, and I did get hired at one antivirus company, and that's because I lied on the application and told them that I didn't have a felony, and they hired me right away because they knew me. And then I I did, I knew that wasn't going to last because there was a background check, and it took about 25 days or so for it to come back. And I knew as soon as they found out they were going to let me go. And if I would have answered it truthfully, if I would have said yes, I'm a fella, I wouldn't even got the interview to begin with. So they'll now naturally they'll lie to you, because you know they don't want to make it look like they don't hire because they're being racist against your felony, and because that's illegal. So they can't really admit, yeah, we didn't hire you because you're a felon. They can't say that. So by law, get this, by law they have to lie because they can't say the truth because they'll get sued. So anyway, I knew that was going to happen. Either way, it didn't matter whether I answered it true or answered it false. Um, Now, obviously, there's no one that's been taught by an ex-hacker on YouTube, and I think I'm the first to tread the waters in this because they're, you know, I'm stuttering here because it's hard to say this because you don't know what YouTube's going to do. It's like what can I say and what can I say? What can I not say? And this will come up toward the end of this video because I'm going to actually talk. I'm going to argue with myself whether I should say this or not on the video, but stay tuned. Later on in the video, I don't know where exactly I'll bring it up, but whenever it pops up, but I have it in my mind, what I want to say, and it's an interesting, very interesting concept from a hacker's point of view. Again, no video is going to tell you this. There is not a video on YouTube that will tell you this. This is a hacker knowledge thing, and it's an insight. You won't hear it anywhere else. I guarantee you. Maybe on the dark web, you might see it, or someone might mention it, or something similar to it. What I'm going to tell you is not the only way to do it, but it's a really good one, really. Um, but yeah, this is just from a hacker's perspective. You guys aren't going to get that anywhere in your training or your courses and everything. And then, I wouldn't go bragging about it to your professors and everything or your college because it's probably not a good idea. Oh yeah, on the side, I got a YouTube hacker channel that's teaching me stuff too. Again, it's something you might want to just keep to yourself. Um, and just enjoy the knowledge, the stuff that you learn from these videos, because it won't bode well for you on a resume or anything. Trust me. Oh yeah, cybersec journey. Go check out his channel. I learned a lot from him. Yeah, you're probably not going to get that job once someone looks at my channel. I would say you guys won't learn this from any other hacker because hackers don't actually do this. Well, some of you obviously you might know hackers. You might have some friends that are hackers, but not many. You know, there's not a lot of hackers out there that have friends because hackers are very introverted people. I mean, really, haven't you guys seen Mr. Robot or The Net? With Sandra Bullock. They're they don't really like. You know, I could say they don't deal well with others, um, which is kind of true. I don't in my own way. Not that I'm bashful or shy or anything. It's just that I'm very forward. I'm very blunt. You know, I speak the truth. And people don't like that. It's like, don't ask me if you got a big ass, because if you do, I'm gonna fucking yeah, your ass is pretty huge, actually. You know, when people ask you that, they're asking you that because they want you to lie to them and make them feel better. That's just not me. That's just not what I'm gonna do. Um, but anyway, getting into this, there's going to be stuff that you're going to have. I'm going to have to tell you guys, um, whether I don't know how YouTube's going to take it or not, because you're going to end up going on Telnet, dark net markets. I'm going to take you to those places and everything, and we'll see if the video passes the mustard with YouTube. But we're going to be looking at exploits and all that stuff, and you're going to know how to protect your network when you do this. These these are not nice places. These are not friendly places, especially to new people that just come in. I don't think these people that run these telnet, telegram or darknet markets or anything like that, or, don't think they're stupid. When a new person comes in, it's kind of like having a new account, made today on Discord, and you join a channel like mine. You're going to be kicked right away because we don't accept brand new Discord accounts. So yeah, these aren't nice places, and you might lose a couple of computers. You might get your bank information hacked into, your email hacked into, all your social media accounts. Because these people love doing this, you know. Um, and when you show up brand new, they don't know who you are. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter. You tell them, I'm here to learn. I'm here to. You know how many times they've heard that? It's like a criminal telling a cop, I didn't do it. You know how many times the cops have heard that? Of course, every criminal is going to tell the cop they didn't do it. So that's not going to get you anywhere. They're going to look at you coming in as an undercover agent, as an FBI person, or someone investigating you, or at least a security researcher. You're from a security company, you're from Kaspersky, or you're from FireEye, or McAfee. You're from some security, and you're doing threat intelligence. You're gathering information and stuff. They don't. This is what they're believing that you are, no matter what you tell them that you are. Until you build some credit, until you spend some time, but until that happens, you're going to get hacked. And so you know when you first guys, when you guys first start out, if you're going to be doing threat intelligence, which is my specialty, you know, malware attribution is my specialty. I reverse engineer and tear apart malware, find out and know exactly what it's doing, try to attribute it to some country or foreign nation state. And as you guys see from my last video, from the end of it, the Excel sheet that I showed you, but that's quite large. You know, that's not even the beginning of it. That was years and years ago when I first started. That has actually that's not in an Excel sheet no more. That's actually in a huge database now. The same information, same columns, same everything and everything, but it's just so much of it. It's in a huge database where I can search on it quickly and find answers and stuff that I'm looking for very quickly in a nice laid out table, you know, on a private website that's on my network. But with that, we're going to be starting with Wireshark, which is what you see on the screen. Now, this this is another questionable point. Wireshark is a packet analyzer and a troubleshooting tool. It can be used for both, and its primary use is for network analysis. Now, you'll also hear that Wireshark is not the best tool for monitoring network activity, and that's true. You know, for monitoring network activity, it's not that good of a tool. There's other tools that can do that for you. They cost money, they're expensive and stuff. They're mainly for large corporations. And you'll learn about these in your own time because you'll come across them in pen testing scenarios because you're going to have to try to break into networks that have these type of things protecting their network. And you're going to have to be familiar with them. And we're going to learn a few of them in this video. But um, with that, I'm thinking on where to go here because, like I said, I could cut this stuff out. I really don't know if I want to or not, but because people like the raw video, even though there are pauses sometimes of long parts. But anyway, um, Wireshark is a GUI interface, and that's not where you guys are really going to live. Like I said, you guys are living in a terminal. And so I asked you guys this in the last video, how many of you have actually tried T-Shark, which is the terminal command version for Wireshark. And for beginners who are not comfortable with the terminal, well, that's the first thing. That's the first problem you're going to have to hurdle because you're going to have to get comfortable with the terminal because it's going to be your life. You're going to live there quite a bit. And I'm going to be covering the terminal within the next coming up couple of videos. But it can be daunting, for sure. There's no doubt about that. Some say that you shouldn't use Wireshark on networks, where you don't have permission to inspect the network packets. And using it without permission is illegal. Well, that is true. You know, when you guys do your pen testing jobs, that's why I said you got to make the contract and everything. You got to make sure you cover all this stuff in a contract because you got to have your get out of jail card, so to speak, on anything that comes up. And anything that comes up has got to be specifically included in a boilerplate in the contract, which means basically every paragraph in the contract is a boilerplate, and every paragraph covers only one subject. So if you want to cover Wireshark in your contract, well, that's going to be one paragraph and one subject. You know how much shit you're going to be doing, and each one of them things independently have to have their own paragraph to protect you. Again, that's something that you got to learn on your own if you want to pass the certification, but good luck on that. It's not going to be an easy road. It's only a serious thing and a problem, like I said, if you're a criminal, if a criminal's on your network using it. But this is why companies, that have large sensitive data, information, even top secret data stored on their network, don't want bad guys on their networks downloading this data or ransomware, encrypting it, and holding them ransom, to get their data back. So they hire people like me. Not really, me personally, but someone like me, who's an ethical hacker. They know the mindset of an ethical hacker and how they're going to get in. But an actual bad guy that knows what to do, how to get around network security measures and alerts, IDSs, and basically how to illegally hack the network and get away with it. This is what they pay, the $50,000, $75,000 for a top level network penetration test. Now, if you ask me, this is the only reason I say top level. I don't mean the security company that you see on the internet that advertises they do this, because again, we're stuck in the catch 22. We're stuck in the company that's doing this with ethical hackers that have been taught by a college course or a course, um, that don't really know the mentality of a hacker. Um, they're abiding by laws in a, in a field where the adversary doesn't have any laws. They don't have no rules. They don't have no ethics. They'll If they break your shit, well, they break your shit. They're not worried about it. They'll probably laugh about it. They don't care. And you just cannot get this across to corporations, except Department of Defense contractors, because they do have highly sensitive data. Yeah, how many people here know Snowden? You guys remember Edward Snowden, that that took all the secret, top classified information, from CIA, from NASA, and other places, and now it's all over the web. And there was a whole shitload of secrets that came out in that shouldn't have. You know, as they say, someone fucked up really huge in that ordeal. But that's it. And so it's only recommended, for large public corporations, that have shareholders, investors, equity firms, that are invested in these companies, because these equity firms, and you got to know finance too. I mean, you're not here to learn just hacking. You guys are going to have to learn investors and wealthy people and how things operate, and everything, because hackers, they're in it for the money. And just like hacking, you got to know the hacking, but if you want the money, well, you got to know about where the money is and how it's protected and how the money works, you know cryptocurrency and all that stuff. Equity firms, usually your large private equity firms, are funded by pensions. Large corporations, where everyone's paid into a pension, a retirement plan, and all that stuff. This is where they get their money to invest. So they, this is digressing here, but uh, they want the least amount of risk in an investment that they can. And so when they buy into something, they want a lot of control over it. And like I said, we're going off the bridge here into a different area, but it is kind of related. And I'll probably get into that long down the road. We'll probably months, maybe next year we'll get into this. But anyway, they don't want this, because, the so-called hacker really isn't, when they're these corporations that do this, they're not really not a knowledgeable hacker with experience. You know, they're they're not looking for the same data that a hacker is. They're looking. Well, I don't want to get into that because you guys are going to, my students that are in that class are going to be taking these courses. They are taking these courses, and some of them are going to be taking, because they said they're going to sign up for a place. A lot of them don't know where they're going to go yet. Whether they're going to go with a college, or they're going to go with another course from somebody, or they're going to go with the Hack the Box Academy, or like, they're deciding on what they want to do yet and what path to go. But a lot of these are just scams, that want to be hackers and stuff, and companies, pull on corporations within expensive penetration tests and just run away with the money. Um, you know, they knew enough, to get their way through the penetration test and everything, and get in there and make it look good. Because the company doesn't. The executives, the people in charge don't know what they're looking for, and you know, for those people who are certified, you know, I feel sorry for you guys for me saying this, but um, these guys are scammers. They're con artists. You do not know what you're looking for in these Pinterest contracts that are written up, because these things are thought out. They buy these things on the dark web, and the people that sell these, they do know pen tests very well, inside and out, a lot better than you guys do with your certs. And they have designed these to even pass your guys' inspection. And so the hacker that's using them is not really a pen tester. He's like a script kiddie with more smarts, and some money. He knew that he can go on the dark web and purchase a ready-made pen testing kit, for some cash, and it's just point and click for him. Now I'm not going to, tell you how he gets around not using commands, like I'm going to be teaching you guys and like you should be doing, because that's an underground, thing. That's programmed into the software that he sells, and that's what makes it so expensive to buy. Um, not so expensive that it's out of reach, but expensive enough, you could say. We're talking, in the thousands, not tens of thousands, but in the thousands, depending on the market that you go to. And like I said, I've seen these types of situations because it's people like me that get hired afterwards to come and fix these problems, because they can't really go to another security company, an ethical hacking security company, because they've been breached by a hacking group, and they really don't have any idea how fucked up their network is, because they don't know. Obviously, hackers, everyone knows, even if you don't know, you know, hackers know networks and computers extremely well. And so, they're now, the company's already paid for a pen testing test and they got scammed. So obviously they realized, look, we don't know what the hell we're doing. Now we got to pay to get this fixed. How are we going to get this fixed when we don't even know who to hire? You know, sure, you go to these pretty websites, fancy, websites and everything. They look all professional and graphics and everything's laid out. Oh, surely these guys know what they're doing. You know, um, I'm really getting into bashing the security industry here, but I mean, I don't know what to I don't know what to say. As I say, as my dad used to tell me, if the truth hurts, the shoe fits, then wear it. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it to you guys. But this is why the companies come to trusted consultants like me that have hacking experience and have turned to the good and are able to go in there. And we are familiar with tools. We are familiar with uh, rootkits and stuff that you can buy on the dark web. We've seen them, might have used them before ourselves. But like I said, when we see something, we know it's kind of like looking for something, and you don't know what you're looking for. We can get in a network and we can go looking around, and we don't know what we're looking for because we don't know who did this or anything. But we have we have the bad hacking experience. We don't know what we're looking for, but the difference is we will know when we see it. And that's the difference between hiring someone like me and hiring an ethical hacking company to come in and do things. When I'm going in to fix something that's been hacked by another hacker, I know the tools that are used. I know how they use them. I know where they hide them in a network. And, I know a lot of stuff. And when I see something, I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'll go looking around the network and everything. And when I do find it, I'll know it when I see it. So that's that. That's what the company needs. They need it. someone that they're assured of, that can come in and do that type of stuff. And, you know, we get recommended by usually government agencies. Pick your pick. Pick your 3 letter or 4 letter designation. All of them. FBI, CIA, NASA, everyone. They all know hackers. They're illegal hackers. And everything, and they turn to the good, and they use them. Off and on and everything. As third parties. Third party consultants. Outside contractors and stuff like that. Because they can't have them on the payroll because just simple, they can't. They can't have a felon on the payroll because that looks even more sketchy. But they can have you as an outside consultant, because I'm not even going to go into the logic of that. But anyway, however, there are others that say, Wireshark is a great way to learn, low level networking. Um, it can show you, what's happening on your network at a microscopic level because you can break down each packet, open up each frame and everything, including, the port, what's being used on the port, the communication, and all that stuff. But for example, you can use Wireshark to see if your computer is connected to a strange host, over the port, whether it's IRC or a file transfer or Telegram or Discord even. You can put Discord in there with Telegram. Maybe not on the same level, but there are shady Discord servers also. Um, but anyway, all these might show that you've got an intruder on your computer. Someone's hacked your computer and they're controlling it through a Telegram, server or, a Discord server. Again, there are botnets built by, through Discord because this is one of those areas again. Discord does have ways that um, hackers can hide payloads and malware and stuff inside the Discord API. And this is done through bots. They make their own bot and they get you to download it, and put it on your server. And you think you got a good bot that's, managing your roles and doing everything. And by the way, I'm going to be making my own bot. I don't know how long it's going to take, but cause like I said, I'm doing my own stuff, but I'm also making these videos and running my YouTube channel now that is blowing out of the water. And I wasn't really expecting that, but because this is kicked off so big, so big, and the server is growing, the Discord server is growing. There's not. I know before. I don't even have to look. Um, there's gonna be. I want a bot that I know how. I know what I want it to do. I'm familiar with the API, Discord's API, and I'll probably do it in Python. But I can do it in any. It's just a personal choice. I can do it in Java. I can do it in any language. It doesn't really matter. Because I've seen them all: C Sharp, Java, JavaScript, Python, Go, Lua. Um, I programmed in every single one because when you're out there on the internet, you don't know what. You might come across a program that you need to customize or do something, or do something with it and everything. If it's in a language you don't know, well, you're screwed. You can't be in a situation like that. You know, when you get out there and work, you need to know that you know all of the possible languages that you might possibly come across. What PHP, SQL, CSS. What it doesn't matter. You know, you need to know it. But anyway, this is dragging on, and like I said, we're going to get into all of this. Um, on reasons. We're starting with networking. Because Siri, as a security researcher, especially one like me that interested in threat intelligence, foreign nation states, malware attribution, etc., etc. He spends a lot of time in very questionable places on the web, like I've said before. With darknets, Tor, IPsec. IPsec is something that we'll get into in this course. It's a networking protocol, but that'll be later. I don't know, maybe 3 videos, maybe 4. But anyway, like I said, all this has to do with Telegram and Discord and stuff. You need to be able to recognize this when you see it in a network. whether it's Wireshark or T-Shark or whatever you're looking at. If you're on a large enterprise network, you're going to be using other tools again that are highly in depth. Takes a long time to learn, like a Palo Alto network. Um, we're we're going to get into that, but nah, right? We might get into that next year because a Palo Alto network is something that you are only going to see in a very, very large corporation. In Department of Defense networks, you'll see a Palo Alto network. They are highly secure and very sensitive to data, and they're just set up differently. That's all I can say. But that will come down the line. But I don't know exactly when, but definitely down the road. So I think with that, let's look at our chart here. And this is going to happen a lot for you new people. You're going to see stuff that you don't know. I mean, TCP you might not know, but charging, you're like, oh my God, I've been hacked. I've never seen this charging before. What is this charging? See, you're scared already and you don't even know what it is. Um, Charging is a protocol capture of basically ASCII text. The primary purpose of a charging service is to, generate a continuous stream of characters. Like I said, typically ASCII characters, and send them to the client, over a request. And we can, again, we'll get into this, but we can see that there's been a request made here by 172.16.1.133 to the same network, except on machine 129. So, and by the way, this is a capture from a course that I took. I don't know how many years ago, but it's from one of the courses that I took. This is the alternate telnet port. The telnet port gives you an idea on why Sargent might be in here. What kind of information would mainly be going over a telnet port? Well, ASCII text mainly would be going over a telnet port. So now it's not that bad when you see this. Now you know. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, I see what's happening here. Oh, some ARP requests. So something's getting on the network. VMware is getting on the network and communicating and stuff. So this is a VMware network. So it's not a live network. Someone's captured this in their lab, their virtual machine lab, or we can see right here this VMware, but it could be a Palo Alto network too, because a Palo Alto network is you can have these in the cloud also, set up very sophisticated to where the whole network is run in the cloud. And yet you will have a virtual VMware network in this cloud because all this is right here is a MAC address. The first three hex digits identify it as a VMware. It's belonging to it's a VMware NIC card. And the 2848FO, that is the client part of it. That's the exact machine on the network that sent this request. As you can see, these three are different. This is CD60C3. And it's asking, who has 172.16.117? I mean, I thought that question mark was a 17, but 172.16.1.1. Whoever has this, please tell 172.16.1.133. Then you got another ARP request here. And like I said, and we're not really getting into this right now, we got DNS here. There's some captures that we're going to be going that will have MDNS in it. This one doesn't. This is all TCP, DNS, TCP, and charging. That's all this is. And you'll come to notice that when you look at all that, and this is all you're seeing, without this title up here, when this is the kind of traffic that you're seeing, and this is one case. There could be, like I said, it depends on what the networks have on their network. What software they're running. You can on this one they're using charging to send over the ASCII text, but there's other software also that uses that sends ASCII text over, and it's a different protocol and everything because it's a different company. is a different hardware solution. And Palo Alto Networks, actually, you won't see, they won't have this charging on here. But when you do see, when you do see it in a capture, you'll know that it's a Palo Alto network. You'll be like, oh, wow, okay. That's what they're running on this network. Interesting. And that tells you information. That's a profile. When you see Palo Alto packets coming across in a capture, um, you're like, whoa, okay. Apparently, I'm on some kind of network here. This might be worth investigating some more. But that's without digging any deeper or getting overboard into it, that's basically what we're going to do now. With that, look down here in the bottom right. You see these hex codes right here. We're going to get into hex codes also, and I was trying to figure out a way, to teach you guys. Now, when I first started, we didn't have a lot of stuff that we do today. To, we had to learn, with a pencil and paper type things or a notepad. So we had to learn the hard way. But you guys are gonna not really know how to read this, but there's a lot of things that you're gonna have to know. Like when you're reverse engineering, obviously we're not reverse engineering here, but when you are reverse engineering, there's a thing in assembly called no op, which is a no op code. It's just basically a code that says there's nothing here. This is blank space, and you would be able to know that by the hexadecimal number that you see here, because you know what it means when you do see it, because you know what it means, for one, because you see it so many times. It's used in buffer overflows. Um, they'll make what they call a no op slide, which is just a whole bunch of no ops in a row, because this allows them to inject code at that location. And no matter where in the stream, see, this is the stream right here, one line. No matter where in the stream that hits, it'll slide, basically. Not physically, not literally, but we just use it as a metaphor. But it'll slide, into there, and now you injected your code. You found a place to put your code. Um, and it'll overwrite, whatever was there, which is basically your no op code was there. But this is how we're going to break it down. Here we have an Excel sheet that I put together. Um, we're going to use this one here because it's 32-bit. I do have a 64-bit over here. You can see quite larger, with larger numbers. But look over here. My mouse over here, and this at the far right, that one big huge white box. We can put our ones in here like this, and you see this extremely large number over here now. That's what that one represents. That one right there, for one, puts a 4 down here, and then it puts a 4 down here. And this 4 is just for these 4 bytes right here. The other 0 over here is for these 4 bytes. And, we can put another one there, and we can put a 1 there. Now we got 14, but now down here we got E. So we got 0E. And over here, if I scroll this back, you can see we got 0E right here. So this whole thing right here is just a combination of all these right here put together to, form, you could say, we could say an IPv6 address. We could fill that up here, and you can see what that looks like. With the number representation up here, you can see, watch this number over here change when I take these numbers away. When I put a 0 back there, you can see we're losing that, and it's eventually going to go back to 0. And that, that happens no matter where we go here. We can do it anywhere. We can just go through here and put numbers, la-di-da, the way we want. And we're putting together, you know, you know, this is kind of random, but I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out a good place to put it. Nope, not a 10. That won't work. And we'll fill this, no, not a 10. My big fingers. We'll fill this one up. that we get an F. All 4 bytes in there that are, is 15. And, 15 is the 15th letter in the alphabet. And that's how binary works. A quick rundown. You got 0 through 9. You're going, 7, 8, 9. And instead of 10, we go A. So 10 is A because there is no 10. We got to work with single digits here, single representations. Um, and if you look down here at the bottom where it says 64-bit, right next to it, you see 2's complement. We're not going to get into that in this exercise here, or even in the networking. But that's basically what that's getting into. But anyway, that's again, that's down the road. For those of you that are still watching this, those of who of you are, you might have questions. Well, ask them in the Discord. I'll be there to answer them. But let's go. Let me put that one back. But this is the tremendously long number that we have with what we have right here. And let me scroll over. This is our representation of that number in hex. F2, A5, E9, 52, blah, blah, blah. If we were to finish filling it out all the way across. But anyway, let's go back over here because this one's smaller. It's easy, and you can see the whole thing on this one. It's a lot easier. I don't have to do no scrolling. But that's what these all down here, like D4. Oh, let me show you. Right here, we use it from 1 to 3. What I said about 10 is A. Just go by 1, or 0, 1, 2, and 3 right here. These first 4. If there's a 1 right here, its value is going to be 8. If there's a 1 on the 2, its value is going to be 4. All we're doing is halving it. That's all we're doing right here. And so a 1 right here on the 1 will be 2. And then the last one obviously is 1. This one is either 0 or 1. So we got 8, 4, 2, and 1. If you add them all up, if you add 8 and 4, and then 2 and 1, you get 15. And that's how this works. So if we wanted to verify our theory that 10 is actually A, we put a 1 here, and that gives us our 8. Now, how much more do we need to get to 10? We need a 2. So we'll go over here to the 1 where our 2 is. We'll put a 1 there. And there's our 10. And down here it shows our A. And that's how we get an A over here too. And that's how all of these right here work. And basically all of these broken down into 4s. And we can see right here, the name, if you want to name them. This is the first niblet. This is the second niblet. And all 16 of them together are a word. And 32 of them together is a double word. And, we'll get into that. Like, same thing over here. Just a smaller version, but same thing, double word. But this is binary. You'll see this in machine language. Nothing, machine language is literally this. Nothing but zeros and ones. That's it. And this is how a computer understands machine language. Because all these ones and zeros right here put into this, broken down into this number this hex number over here, can be broken down into a number right here, where and you see up here, my formula that I've used to figure this all out right here, all these if statements, if cell A2 equals 1, put in this number. If it doesn't equal 1, then put a 0 there. And so forth, so forth, and so forth. And we're summing all of this up. And that's what we're doing. That's how we get to 20 right here. But again, we're going to get to binary, but not right now. But I wanted to show you guys, what this represents down here and everything. What else do we need to do? Oh, let's cover something that I've seen on my own network that I thought might be of interest because, I know my own network, and I suggest that you guys do your own when you guys learn this. Just the networking part. When you get far enough in it to where you can dissect a packet capture, It doesn't have to be expertly, but when you learn enough, because like I said, we're going to go over the network protocols, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to be going over in this part of the networking. But I would suggest that you guys go through your own network, every day, do a capture of you doing nothing. Capture like 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever you want, of just your computer sitting there, because there will be traffic, because there's communication that has to go on between routers and devices and stuff. Letting them know that they're up. Hey, we're here. We're waiting. Is there anything for us? And all that stuff. It's interesting, but you'll see. But you'll get to know your net. You'll profile your network, and you'll get to over time. This is something that you got to repeatedly do, because you'll see the normal activity when you look at when you capture, when you are troubleshooting your network and there's a problem. Like here we had our Wi-Fi go out the other week. Um, I knew that our router wasn't communicating with our devices because I saw it in a network capture. Our devices were trying to communicate with it, but it just wasn't answering. And this is how you know when you troubleshoot, because you know what belongs on your network and what doesn't. And so when you're going through it, you're seeing, like for this, Sergeant, okay, yeah, I know, so yeah, DNS, I expect to see that. RF, I expect to see, all the stuff. NTP, yeah, maybe. But you expect to. So, and it's when something, that you see that jumps out at you, that's how find out, like, because people tell you, well, God, with all this shit going on, with all the communication and everything going on a large network and everything, your home network and everything, how do you know what's bad and what's not bad, and everything? Well, that's because, hopefully, like I told you guys, you've done your homework, and you've profiled your network good enough to know your devices, know the IPs that are on your address, know what you have, know how they communicate, normal activity, basically. You know what normal activity on the network looks like, because you've seen it enough. It's kind of like playing guitar. You know, if you play guitar long enough, you memorize all the chords. You don't got to look at the fretboard. When you need an A or a C or a D or whatever, your hand just reaches down there and grabs it. You know what? You know exactly where it's at and where to put it. Same thing with with your network, your home network. You've looked at your own home network so many times. You know your own devices. You know your own traffic and what it looks like and everything. And I know I keep repeating myself, but it's that important. You have, to troubleshoot your own network, you must know your own network, and what's on it, what's supposed to be on it. And if something's out of the ordinary, you need to know it. You say, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't fit. Why is that talking to something, and who is that talking back? We need to look into this. And that's where you go. But one of the things that did it, and this brings up something that we're going to get into, because this will come up in pen test also, because you will see this in large corporations. And this is the this is the uh, this is the sweet part of the videos. This is toward the end of the videos. One of the last things that I'll cover in this video. So we are toward the end, but this is the candy. This is the payoff for all you guys that watch this whole video, because it's very simple and everything, but you're going to learn something from it on how to, well, you're going to learn an idea on how to dig when you do find something out of the ordinary. This is not out of the ordinary for me, but for a beginner, they would be, it's out of the ordinary. I'm not going to show you my own home capture, but I had a company called Akamai. That's Akamai. It's a Hawaiian name. But anyway, they're a very popular service on the internet. They're a CDN. That's a content delivery network. For those that don't know what that is, among a few other things. But I had packets from them. And when you're just starting out, you might, be wondering, you know, okay, Akamai, what? That's not even English. Why are they all my? Is this, Chinese, Japanese? What is this? Why? I don't know why this is on my network. You're a beginner. You're just starting out. You don't know. So you're wondering, but you're worried also. Does this need to be on my network, and what exactly is it doing? Okay, I'm back. I had to take a just a short break there, couple-minute break because there was some stuff going on on the chat. But anyway, Akamai. Um, I don't. It doesn't matter if I'm saying that right or not. It's irrelevant. You know, there's no significance to it. We're not here to learn Hawaiian, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, Akamai Technologies. Like I told you, they're a prominent content delivery service. They're in the cloud, which a lot of these services are in the cloud. They're used mainly by websites, online services, and stuff to deliver content. Maybe API networks and stuff efficiently through the website, and then you get into performance, and they got performance handling and all that stuff. It's not uncommon, to see a significant amount of traffic from a network, in your captures and stuff, depending on, who you're doing it. If you're doing it for large corporations and stuff, you'll probably see a lot of it. But they also offer cloud-based security services, including denial of service protection, DDoS. There's a lot of companies that do that also, and web application firewalls, or WAF. There's a lot of cloud services that do that, and also bot management, like hosting my Discord bot. Those are usually hosted in a cloud environment, and the management part of it, when you actually go to your bot management part and log in to configure your bot, that's usually on a website, uh, a regular hosted account, separate from the botnet, because again, if I get into bot development on this channel, I'll go into that for you guys. But you want those two separated. You want your bot uh, management separated from your bot uh, actual code. You want your bot code on a cloud server, and your bot management on an actual hosted environment. But yeah, that's simply that's all that Akamai is, in a simple breakdown. But I'm gonna get into something else also here, and you'll eventually see these two. They're very big. You guys might know their name, but not know exactly what they do. The first one is CloudStrike. Kind of similar to Akamai in ways. They're both prominent companies. You'll see both of them in network scans quite a bit. Um, CloudStrike is a cybersecurity company, while Akamai is a CDN, a content delivery network. But both of them, Akamai does a little bit of security, but it's kind of like cybersecurity is kind of like CloudStrike's specialty. They're an endpoint security company that is, for threat intelligence, incident response services, and stuff like that. So you'll see them in your larger, maybe mid-sized to large corporations. You might see Cloud Strike services, protecting their network, and then it runs a service called Cloud Strike Falcon platform. It's kind of like Palo Alto, but on maybe a lesser scale. For corporations and stuff like that. Like I said, Palo Alto you might see in large corporations and stuff like that and everything, but Palo Alto is one of probably, I think, 4 or 5 companies that you'll see on government websites, or government networks, and Department of Defense networks and stuff like that. But um, I don't know if I'm going to cover Palo Alto or not. I mean, I could. I don't know what benefit it'll be of you guys. I don't think Palo Alto will be on any certification exam that you guys are going to take. If it is, that's interesting. I'd like to know why, but I mean, who am I? Now, I mentioned CloudStrike and Akamai, so I guess it's only fair that I mention Cloudflare. That's CLAOUDFLARE. For those of you that have a hard time understanding me, I don't. I've lost a lot of teeth, so that's why my talking is slurred sometimes. But a Cloudflare, again, these are kind of like a big three. Actually, there's a big five, but out of the big three in no particular order, you'll see these guys a lot: Cloudflare, CloudStrike, and Akamai. Along with the two others. Like I said, this video is long enough. We don't need to get into them. They're kind of same as this. They're different in their own ways. CloudStrike is an endpoint uh, cybersecurity company. Cloudflare is a global cloud service that provides a wide range of services aimed at performance, security, reliability. Um, what else? May uh, maybe I don't know if I want to say get into that. Load balancing, maybe. You might see that, and again, that's another thing. We got to get load balancing. That could cause network troubleshooting issues, and it's going to affect your pen testing. Also, at some point, you'll come across that, and it'll be a headache for you if you don't know how to spot it. But some of Cloudflare's key services also include content delivery service, DDoS, a distributed denial of service protection, web application firewall. Again, WAF is acronym for that. DNS management, security analytics. Basically for websites. That's what they're for. A lot of your traffic that you go through with big corporations and stuff, you know, that might get hacked, like cybersecurity companies. For instance, they might be when you type in their domain and hit enter. It's probably if you do a trace route, and again, this is something you're going to have to be able to recognize and dig deeper into it because you won't see it in a trace route when you're watching your trace route, you'll see the traffic going through, and then at various points in your trace route, you'll see four asterisks or three asterisks come up, depending on the system you're on. But anyway, you'll see four asterisks come up there, and then go to the next line, and maybe four asterisks again, and everything. Now that could be for a lot of things. Load balancing one that could be for load balancing, and there's too much traffic on the network, and it's not able to respond to your packet and that your ICMP packet has a time to live, a TTL on it. And once that TTL expires, then the packet's going to die and you're not going to get a response back from it. Then that's when you get your asterisks. But it could also be for some reason. They might not want to respond to ICMPs for security reasons, obviously. They know that people are using it to probe their network and stuff. And yeah, you do need to be able to ping a network and everything. But if you don't want to use ICMP, there are other ways to do that to get around that. That your script kiddies, let's just say, don't know because, like I said, they're not taking the time to actually take courses and stuff and learn this stuff. They're just reading this stuff as they go through online forums and stuff like that. They're learning it willy nilly. They're learning it in bits and pieces, but they don't. Only thing they know is ICMP. Ping, run a ping command. Um, what you do? You tell them to ping an IPv6 address and see how many of them scratch their head and go, "Huh?" But yeah, that's just your big three: Cloudflare, CloudStrike, and Akamai. You'll see them a lot and a lot of them. Well, Akamai is mainly a content delivery service. Cloudflare and CloudStrike, they're both cybersecurity companies. CloudStrike is specifically specialized as a cybersecurity company with threat intelligence stuff. Cloudflare is mainly more geared toward denial of service protection, web application firewalls, and stuff like that. DNS management. They're protecting websites front end. Like I said, when you go to it, when you type in the domain name and go to it, your request is going to go through Cloudflare first. You're not going to know the IP of the company that you're going to because Cloudflare is going to block that. So you're not going to be able to attack their servers directly. because the only IP that you're going to know, um, unless, like I told you, unless you know how to get around Cloudflare, um, uh, you got to be able to get around Cloudflare to know what your target's actual network IP address is, your entry point. Because if you don't know, all you're going to get is Cloudflare protecting their network, and the only IP address that you're going to know is Cloudflare's IP address, which ain't going to get you anywhere. So with that, I think we're done. Oh, to close out. Uh, okay, for YouTube or anyone else that's watching this from YouTube or anything, this is the questionable part that I was debating on whether I should talk about or not. And again, this is a bonus for you guys. For you guys that are still hanging on, how long is this? An hour or so right now? I don't know. I lose track. I said I was going to use the phone last time, but I forgot. And my memory is another thing that's going on me. But um, uh, should I say this or not? Well, okay. For YouTube, if YouTube support is watching this, which I doubt it, um, and if you are watching it, I can direct you to this timestamp if we get into an argument on why this video was taken down. If it regards this particular topic, that is. But this is unethical. In a sense, it's unethical. But this is a hacker talking. This is actually helping people in my area. Now, my neighbors and stuff don't have to worry about this. Like I said, I'm old now. I'm, out of the game kind of, except for on my own. I can't sit on the couch and watch TV all day. So I still do security research and other stuff on my own. Um, I don't really take on clients anymore because I don't really have a schedule because, you know, ever since 2020, I've got my health problems and stuff. And, you know, I do things when I'm up, as long as I'm up, I'm on the computer. And when I don't feel well or anything like that, or I need to lay down for a little bit, I go lay down and I get up and do the same thing, get back on the computer. And that's why behind me looks the way it does when you guys saw it in the picture, because I only do things when I have to, you know. But this is to protect anyone else out there that is in this situation. About me living in a weekly apartment. Well, there's a lot of reasons I live in a weekly, but this is if you're a hacker, this is a really good one. And there's other ways, there's other things that you can do also, but this is one that's not widely known. I haven't seen it mentioned a lot on dark web, really. So this is a rare thing. Someone out there, in interweb land might have mentioned it or talked about it. If you're really good on Google Dorks, you might be able to search it and find someone else that's mentioned it. But this is a beneficial informational service that I'm giving to people who do live in weeklies. Now, chances are in your weekly, you're not going to have a hacker like me. Chances are, it's possible, it's a slim chance, but there's still a chance that you could. And if you do, weekly places like this are an excellent place to never get caught hacking. Never get caught hacking. Because I don't have to hack from my computer. These places are on a shared network. In other words, we got one access point, usually Wi-Fi, in all the weekly places, that's scattered out all over the complex, and multiple people connect to the same Wi-Fi in a building or in an area, depending on how big the complex is. which means me and my neighbors, all my neighbors, are on the same network. I can craft packets, custom packets, to talk to their machine or talk to their network if they have a network. And you might ask, well, what kind of network can they have? Well, I've seen the traffic for my neighbors. They've got high definition TVs, they've got Game Boys, they've got Xboxes, they've got all kinds of stuff, neat stuff. Obviously phones, iPhones and Samsung and, all the brands, they're all on the network too. Um, but I can hack into back when I was a legal hacker, I can hack into their systems and hack from their location. And nothing gets reported because the main number one reason is they don't know they're hacked. And even if they had a suspicion whether they were hacked, they don't know how to check it to make sure. They can't afford to have a forensics or anything come out and look at it because they'll charge them for that, and it won't be cheap. It won't be godly expensive like a corporation or anything. But whoever's going to they get to do it ain't going to do it cheaply to find out if they're hacked or not. Um, so yeah, they're stuck. And also in weekly, there's a lot of drug dealing going on in these weekly places and everything. So even if they did know that you were using their machine, they really don't want the cops there either. so, so yeah, all around, it's a good place for hackers to hide. But hackers don't know that you could be a drug dealer and not going to tell, or this and that and the other. And you could just be an old retired couple next door, because they're looking on their network. Now, if they're friends with you and they know you, and they know that you have a Samsung, they know that you have a game box, they know that you have an Xbox, or whatever gaming whatever, they could look at it and see an Xbox, a game box, like that, and they're like, oh wow, you know what, this is my neighbor, this is John, I know it. But chances are, they don't communicate with each other. Like I said, weekly places are like that. Everyone kind of sticks to themselves because it's kind of shady. It's a shady area. It's kind of like ghetto-ish. Shady stuff going on, and it's not really the dark web, but there is shady stuff that goes on in weekly apartment complexes. That's why they're weekly. But anyway, um, for the good people out there that are listening to this, in case you're one of those old people that are bored, and hold it, this is going to digress a lot. This brings up, you guys are going to laugh. Oh my God, you guys are getting a treat. For those of you that have waited this long, my ex, I told you guys that well, in the chat, I haven't said it on video, but I told you guys that I'm into porn. I make 3D animated porn and AVNs, which are adult visual novels. But anyway, let's get off the subject. My ex also, at one point when we were together, she got into phone sex, where you get paid good money, and all you do, you just sit there and wait for your phone to ring, and you pick it up and you answer it, talk sexy and all that stuff, and you think that these people are going to be talking raunchy to you and everything, and you're going to have to do all this sex talk and everything, and you know what? Kind of like my website exploding. It was nothing of the sort. It was nothing at all what she figured she'd be doing. What she found out, but there's a lot of old men out there that are sitting at home, don't have a wife or anything, or the wife passed away or whatever, and no family, and they're just alone. They're bored, and they just want someone to talk to. Now they're retired, so usually they got money, and so that's not a problem. But they will call you up and sit there and talk to you for hours. Oh, how are you? You got a family? Where you live? Uh, you know, and just go on and on. And you're obviously you're getting paid for this, but they don't care. Like I said, they just want someone to talk to. Feel human, basically. So yeah, the neighbors could be someone like that. You know, and if you're still listening to this video because you're bored, you might not be interested in cybersecurity, but you like my talking, or you just like this format, like a lot of people that watch my videos do. Um, and you've made it this far. Well, I just told you some insight. If you are living in a weekly, and it doesn't matter, Florida, Vegas, LA, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're in the ghetto or you're in a weekly, or if you're in any place, even a hotel, if you're in any place that shares Wi-Fi with everybody else, um, the chances are good that a hacker will hack into your computer because it won't be secured because you really don't know how to secure your computer, basically. So they'll hack into it very easy. I mean, you see my Kali Linux and stuff. They've got specialized tools and stuff that will do this with just a few clicks of a button and everything. And they'll get a reverse shell, which is a command line basically into your computer, where they can issue commands to your computer and operate your computer as if they're there. Now they might be able to turn on screen sharing, where they actually see your screen on their prompt. They won't do that though because you'll be sitting there looking at your computer and seeing your mouse float around, clicking on buttons and wondering, what the hell kind of ghost is my computer possessed? Who the hell is running my mouse? And you see your mouse moving and you look down at the table and your mouse is sitting there and you're like, what the hell's going on? So yeah, they won't do that because it's a dead giveaway to anyone that's watching the screen that someone's hacked into the computer. So they'll just run your computer through the terminal and you won't know. You won't even know. And like I said, this is why a terminal is important. You don't need a GUI. You need to know how to operate a computer 100% through just a terminal. It doesn't matter what kind of program you want to start up or shut down or what you want to do. You need to be able to know how to do it through a terminal. And guys, I thank you for staying this long. And you got a couple bit of nuggets there at the end. And hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the chat room on Discord. If there's anything that you want to talk about that's in the video, uh, bring it up. Ask me your questions in the Discord. I'll be glad to answer them or anything like that. Other than that, oh, I did say that I was going to talk about network protocols that we will be going over and then I did cover them a little bit in this one, charging and stuff like that. You get an idea. But the networks that we're going to be going over, like an introductory, there'll be an intermediate phase where I will get into the, Sarge. Well, we've already covered Sargent, but other not well known networks that, protocols, I should say. Well, protocols are networks, but again, that's another argument. But because protocols are the traffic that's on the network, and it's how you identify the traffic that's on a network. But ARP, obviously, DHCP, DNS, EIGRP, FTP, and all its variants. There's all different kinds of FTPs, and each one of them looks different over the network and everything. We'll be covering that. ICMP, which I kind of just went over just now, explaining that to you guys. There's also ICMP and MLD. We'll cover that also. IPsec, which I mentioned in the video previously, back. I don't know how far, but I mentioned that. It's kind of like another Tor type. It's similar. It's a secure private network, but in a different, different sense format. Like I said, we'll cover it when I get to it. OSPF, PIM, QUIC, which I've did either my last video or my video before that. I think I've showed you guys in a capture a QUIC packet. SNMP. Trying to say that with the teeth that I'm missing is hard. But SSH and Telnet, of course, everyone covers. There's YouTube videos all over that cover that. Same with TCP and UDP. There's YouTube videos that cover that. VoIP, voice over IP, we'll get into also. That's not covered a whole lot on YouTube. But anyway, those are some of the protocols that we'll be covering to kick off, to start off, because you will see these protocols are what your bread and butter is going to be. You'll see these a lot. And you need to be able to recognize them, know how they work. ARP is very important because it's how devices get on a network and get off a network. It's how routers announce themselves to other devices, and you connect to a route, an access point, let's say, nothing. So ARP is going to be very important, along with DHCP. Kind of does the same thing. A little different. Yeah, like I said, we'll get into it. DNS again. It resolves a domain name like lonniegardner.com. It changes that to an IP address, and vice versa, which is called reverse lookup. How you take an IP address, a numerical one, and change it back to the English version of it. So you can go back and forth, and you need to know how to do that. Different protocols do the same thing. So anyway, with that, I guess we'll go ahead and close the video here, and I'll get to uploading the video for however long that takes. And I'll see you guys next time or in the chat. So, toodaloo, and hope you guys have a nice and wonderful week. Thank you.